Hey everyone, and welcome. For this explainer, we're jumping into some really fantastic research material from Dr. Sudheendra S G, put together especially for mass communication students trying to get their heads around the origins of film. We're going to talk about the Lumière Brothers and how they did way more than just invent a machine. They pretty much invented the idea of the movie audience itself. So let's get right into it.
You know, if I ask you who invented the movies, chances are one name comes to mind, right? Thomas Edison. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if the real magic, that moment when cinema became something we experienced together, actually happened thousands of miles away?
And this really lays it all out. On one hand, you have the common story, Thomas Edison's lab, filled with these big, clunky machines that let one person at a time peek into a little box to see a moving picture. But the real story, the one that blew the doors wide open, starts with two brothers in France who had a much, much bigger vision.
So yeah, our first big idea here is moving beyond Edison to find where the true light of cinema came from. And that light came from Auguste and Louis Lumière. Now, what's really cool, and something Dr. Sudheendra's material points out, is their last name, Lumière. It literally means light in French. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. They saw what Edison was doing and basically thought, okay, that's neat, but why keep it in a box? Let's get this out there for everyone to see.
So how did they do it? How did they pull off this huge leap forward? Well, it all came down to one incredible invention, their all-in-one movie machine.
And this was it, the cinematograph. Now, unlike Edison's gear, which was heavy and needed a ton of electricity, this thing was lightweight, portable, and just needed a hand crank to run. It was, for all intents and purposes, an entire movie studio packed into a single, small box. And here's the genius of it, broken down into 3 simple steps. The same device could be used to shoot the movie, then you could use it to develop the film, and finally, you could attach a light source and project it for a whole crowd of people. Before this, you needed a different massive machine for each of those jobs. This was a complete game changer. You want to know the best way to think about it? It was like the jump from an old flip phone to the very first smartphone. I mean, sure, the flip phone could make calls, just like Edison's machine could show a moving picture. But the smartphone put a camera, a web browser, and 1,000 other things in your pocket. It changed how we live. The Cinématographe did the exact same thing for entertainment. And this amazing piece of technology wasn't just about the tech itself. It was about what the tech made possible. It led us straight to this pivotal moment in 1895, the year the movie audience was officially born. Circle this date in your mind. December 28th, 1895. In a basement room at the Grand Café in Paris, the Lumière Brothers held the very first movie screening for a public, paying audience. This is it. This is the birthday of the cinema we all know and love. So, what did these people see? Not some big Hollywood blockbuster. They saw what the Lumières called actualités, basically slices of real life. A short clip of workers leaving their factory, a train pulling into a station. There was even a funny one of 2 babies getting into a squabble over their lunch. Just simple, everyday things that were suddenly absolutely magical because they were moving on a giant screen. And this is the absolute key takeaway. For the very first time in history, a group of total strangers sat together in the dark and had a shared experience. They gasped together, they laughed together, they felt something together. In that moment, film stopped being a scientific curiosity and became a powerful social ritual. Now, an idea this good doesn't just stay in one place. It spread like wildfire. And for all of you students in India, this part of the story is where it gets really close to home. Just look at this timeline. It's incredible. The premiere in Paris was in December of 1895. By July of 1896, that's just over 6 months later, those exact same films were being shown at the Watson's Hotel in Bombay. This wasn't a slow drip. It was a global explosion. And right there, those screenings in Bombay, that was the spark that lit the fuse for Indian cinema. They directly inspired pioneers, most famously the great Dadasahev Phalke. He saw these films and was inspired to create Raja Harishchandra, India's first full-length feature film in 1913. You can literally draw a straight line from that basement in Paris to the birth of Bollywood. So let's wrap this all up by talking about the Lumière legacy. Why does any of this matter to you, a media student, today? Well, the lessons here are actually pretty profound. Let's boil it down to 3 huge takeaways. Number 1, technology by itself is just a tool. It's when you connect that technology with an audience that you create culture. Number 2, you don't always need a massive budget or a crazy plot. Simple, real-life, authentic stories can be incredibly powerful. And number 3, media has always been global. From day one, this was a worldwide phenomenon. So I want to leave you with a question, a sort of challenge. The Lumière Brothers took a simple, everyday sight, workers leaving a factory, and they turned it into art, into history. Today, we all have a high-definition camera in our pocket. We all have that same power. So the real question is, what everyday story right in front of you is waiting to be told? What will you show the world?